Okay, we'll start in an easy position, so just, or any seated position that you're comfortable with. I want you to be focusing on breathing and repeating kind of that box breathing, which is count to four as on an inhale, hold it for four, and then exhale for four, hold it, and then for four, and then repeat. So just keep thinking fours for every movement on an inhale, hold, exhale, hold, and keep going. So we'll start there. Next, we'll transition to shoulder rolls. So you can still stay in the seated position and just roll your shoulders forward. Now you can go backwards. Now we can do a side bend. So just put your left arm over your ear and then bend over to the right side. You can switch sides, put your right arm over the right ear, and then lean to the left side. You can return back to the easy pose. I'm just going to turn sideways to kind of demonstrate. We'll go with a seated cat-cow. So again, as you inhale, lift up the chest, lift up the head, and then as you exhale, put down the chin and curve the back. While you're in this seated position, we'll do a simple twist to the right side. So put the right hand back, put the left hand on the right knee, and then just do a gentle twist to the right side. You can hold that twist. If you need to release it, you can try to release it on your on the exhale or on the inhale, and then go back into the twist on the exhale. We're going to switch sides. So left arm back, right arm on the left knee, twisting to the left side. We'll move out of the easy pose into the table pose, and then we'll do cat-cow from the table pose. Again, as you inhale, lift the chin up. As you exhale, the chin goes down and the back gets arched. You can stay in the table position, and then we'll move to a balancing table position. So if you want to put the left hand out and then the right foot back into a balance, and then if you want, you can switch to the right hand out and then the left foot back, as much as you're comfortable with. So if you're not comfortable with lifting up the knees for the balancing part, then just lift up the hands. You can return to table, and then we'll go to thread the needle. And let's start with the left hand. So you can sort of take the left hand up and then just sort of pretend to thread it through the needle, which is basically under the right shoulder. If you want to use a block for some extra support, you can. You can pull out of that one, and then we'll switch sides. So then you can take your right arm and then sort of thread the needle through the left side. Return back to table, and then from table you can go to downward facing dog, so just sort of lift up your knees. Again, if this is too much pressure on your wrists, you can just bend down to your knees. And otherwise, if you can lift up the knees all the way, that would be great. You can drop down to your knees. I'm just going to rotate just to sort of demonstrate, and we'll move to the frog pose, which is what I want you to do is as you can put your arms straight out, and then just try to inch your knees out to either side as much as you can stretch them and you're comfortable with. You can come back up from there, and then we'll move into a half pigeon pose. And for this, you might want to kind of sit on the block. We'll start with the right foot forward. And if you want, you can make an L with the right foot. So put it out like bending that knee into a right angle, and then just try to move the left foot back. Again, if you want to sit on the block to give you a little bit better, more comfort, depends on what you're comfortable with. If you can get the left foot all the way back, that's awesome. As you can tell, I cannot. We're going to switch sides, this time with the left foot forward and the right foot back. We'll move to the Sphinx pose. So you're just sort of laying tummy down, but on your shoulders. And so you're lifting up on your elbows, I mean. So you're lifting up from your elbows with your arms at your arm at a right angle. Try to keep your elbows underneath your shoulders. Let's move to a child pose. So you can just sort of bring up the knees. You can release from the child into the thunderbolt pose. So just sort of sit up. You're still on your knees, but the back is straight in an up position, and you can put your hands on your knees to help support. Keeping your knees on the mat, you can sort of stand up and then into a camel pose. Just sort of lean back a little bit as much as you're comfortable with the back bend while you're still on your knees. From there, you can stand up into mountain pose. And since we're standing up, you can just sort of shake out the shoulders or anything that feels stiff at the moment. Once you get the stiffness up, then you can just go back to a standing up straight with your feet together and your arms at your side. We're going to move to warrior two. So put your right foot forward toward the top of the mat, your left foot back. Bend the knee. Make sure the knee is over the ankle and then raise the arms. Try to keep the arms parallel to the floor and the back straight. We'll move to a reverse warrior. So you're going to raise the right arm and lower the left. And so you're going to do a side bend to the left side. You can straighten up from there, and we'll move to what's called a standing pigeon pose. So while you're keep your right foot on the ground, lift up your left leg, let it cross the right leg just above the knee. Then we'll go to warrior two, this time with the left foot forward. And remember the left knee over the left ankle, the right leg back, and then arms parallel to the floor, out to the sides. We'll transition to reverse warrior. So put the right arm down, left arm, and a side bend to the right side. You can release from that, and we'll go to the standing pigeon, this time standing on your left leg. So then just cross your right leg over the top part of the knee on your left leg. You can release from there into a wide-legged stance, and we'll move into what's called the goddess pose. So wide-legged stance with your knees bent and then your arms in a cactus pose. You can release from there into a forward fold with the wide-legged stance. You can come out of the forward fold, and then we'll go into the garland pose, which is put the feet together, closer together, and then into a full squat. If you want to extend the feet or separate them out a little bit for the squat, that's fine. And then if you can, put your elbows on the inside part of the knees. You can release from there. We'll go into the staff pose, which is a seated position with your arms straight forward, or your legs straight forward, and your arms to the side. From there, we can move to a bound angle pose. And so you're in a seated position, this time with the soles of your feet together, and then try to bring them as close as you possibly can. You can keep your hands by your ankles. Don't worry if the knees don't hit the mat. Keeping the feet together, we're going to add a right twist. So you put the right hand back and then put the left hand on the right knee, and then just do a gentle twist to the right side. Now we'll twist to the left side. So left arm back, right hand on the left knee, and then twist to the left side. You can release from there into the cradle pose. And so we're going to grab the right knee first. And so just keep the left knee out to the side. So you're basically just holding up your right leg and trying to squeeze and hug your knee as close as you can. We'll switch knees, so you can put the right one down and then grab the left knee. Again, just sort of hug the left knee as close as you can. You can release the left knee and then raise the right knee, but this time we're going to add a twist to it. So put the left elbow to the outside of the right knee with the right hand back and doing a simple twist to the right side. This is the half Lord of the Fishes pose. You can lower the right knee, raise the left knee, put the left hand back, and then the right elbow to the outside of the left knee as you're doing your twist to the left side. As you release from there, you can go to a reclined position with your right knee up. And we're going to do a reclined pigeon pose. So you want your right knee up and then your left leg on top of the right leg. Now we can switch legs, so you can put the left knee up and then the right leg on top of the left leg. You can put both knees up and then put both arms out to the side and then drop both knees to the right side in a simple twist. You can raise both knees and then drop them to the left side. You can raise both knees and we'll move into a bound angle pose. So you're going to drop each knee to the respective side and put the soles of the feet together. Again, you're still staying in the reclined position. You can raise your knees and at this time sort of lift up your feet and you want to grab the ankles or the bottom of the feet into the happy baby pose. You want to keep your arms on the inside part of the knees. As you release from there, you can put your feet on the mat, keep both knees together, and then lift up your hips as your arms are on the floor and into the bridge pose. You can drop the hips And drop the knees as we move into Savasana, the corpse pose. So you're completely flat on your back with your arms at your side. I have a scripture reading from Matthew chapter 17. It's a time when Jesus is with his disciples on a mountaintop, and the disciples were afraid because they saw the glory of God, and they were terrified. And in verse 7, Jesus came and touched them, saying, "Rise and have no fear." And when they lifted up their eyes, they saw no one but Jesus only. Jesus touches them and says, "Rise and have no fear." We live in a world where there's a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety. But Jesus does not want us to live in that fear and anxiety. So as we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, we remember his words to his disciples, "Rise and have no fear." So in the midst of our anxieties and fear, we turn to Jesus. So a quick, easy prayer on the exhale, just go ahead and say, "Jesus, touch me and take away my fear." Jesus, touch me and take away my fear. If your eyes are closed, you can slowly open them and return to a seated position. And thank you for joining us this evening.